Hold on.
Find somebody worth.
Mommy! You're so annoying.
Okay, ready? I don't like
Ma!
living under your spotlight.
Are you ready? Yeah. Ready? You ready or not? Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you have not subscribed to me yet, please hit that subscribe button and help me grow my YouTube family. What are you doing?
Looking for water.
Looking for the subscribe button, yeah. Okay, so today we are talking about something a little bit serious, and I have my daughter China with me because we are doing a real talk episode about depression and anxiety. So we actually did a vlog on this topic like a year ago, probably, or even more than a year ago, but we thought of refilming it because to answer some of the questions that you had on depression and anxiety on my Instagram as well as her Instagram. So in particular, China talks about anxiety a lot and mental health. So follow me on Instagram at She Is McCartney. Okay, but we thought it was a good time to revisit the topic since we haven't talked about it for a while, and we're taking this opportunity to answer your questions on depression and anxiety, something that both of us have experienced. So we really hope that this video is going to help you guys, those who asked the questions, and anybody else who is watching this who has experienced or thinks that he or she may be experiencing depression or anxiety. A little disclaimer, obviously we are not doctors or not psychologists or psychiatrists, so everything that we share is just based on our own personal opinion with the hope that it will be helpful. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, so let's begin, and I chose this question first to answer. This is a question from one of my followers on Instagram, and the question is, how do you detect if you have depression or anxiety? Again, we're not doctors, so what we're going to share is how we detected when we had depression or anxiety. So what happened is, the thing is, I have experienced depression and I have experienced anxiety as well, but not as bad as she has experienced anxiety. So I'm gonna let her answer first, like how she detected or how she discovered that it was actually anxiety that she was feeling.
Okay, so basically I think anxiety can be easily mistaken as just feeling anxious, because anxiety and feeling anxious are two different things. And you know, when these feelings of anxiousness become a lot more rampant, is that the right word? Like you feel anxious, yeah, like if you feel anxious a lot more and it's more and more you don't know the reason why you're feeling anxious, then that's when you should check if you do have anxiety. For me, as I said, I was very confused because I was anxious a lot, but I didn't really think that it was anxiety. The moment that I discovered it was anxiety was when it started becoming a lot more physical than it was mental. So I was experiencing a lot more physical symptoms, like I would always have sweaty palms, sometimes headaches, I feel nauseous. One key thing would be I would have a lot of palpitations, and it would be really bad to the point where I can't breathe and I really can't function. You know, at first it would be when I have like schoolwork, a lot of schoolwork, and I don't know what to do, but then later on it would just appear and I don't know why, like there's no given reason. So I would just literally stay in bed because I can't function with all of these physical symptoms. So I decided to look it up, and it was anxiety. Yay! But like, so yeah, that's how I figured out it was anxiety. I looked it up online, and just to be sure, of course, I checked in with a doctor, a psychiatrist, or a therapist, and I had to do this sort of test, and that's when they told me that I did have anxiety. So yeah.
Okay, as for me, when I was growing up, this word depression wasn't going around much, not as how common it is now. Nobody talked about depression and nobody really knew what it was. So when I was feeling it, I didn't know that it was depression, and only recently did I realize that that was depression. Or no, actually in my 20s I already knew. I kind of realized that, okay, this is depression, this is what they call depression. But I'd literally say to my friends, I feel depressed. So if I have a friend there watching it, watching this, I think you remember that there were times really that I would say I feel depressed. And sometimes my friend at that time, my best friend at that time, she, inuunahan na niya ako. Like, I'd say, I'm kind of sad. You feel depressed, no? Are you depressed right now? She would say that to me. But the word depression, that time, it wasn't like a clinical state. It was just, I thought that it meant that I just really feel sad and lonely. Okay, so just recently did I realize that that was really a clinical state. So I have felt that depression since I was a child up to like my late 20s, on and off. And how did I detect it? I didn't, because nobody talked about it at that time. I didn't until I reached the peak of it. Okay, and I had to start taking medication, which is a story for a later question. But how I detected it was when it was already at its very, very peak. Okay, and only because it took me so many years, because nobody talked about it and I didn't know what it was. Next question is that how do you know? I'm fixing all of these questions so that what we say is, yeah. So the next question is like, how did you know that you were already at the peak? How do you know if you are at the peak of your anxiety or your depression?
I think it's very easy. If you're like at the peak of your anxiety, for me, because I don't know what depression feels like, but the peak of my anxiety, it's just that you can't, the peak of my anxiety is just you can't function at all. Like, that's the easiest question ever. Like, I know
for
a lot
you,
of, yeah, there are a lot of high functioning
people.
Yeah, so there's a lot of high functioning anxious people, but for me, at the peak, I would say that I can function kinda, but
not really. You can't really function at all.
I mean, I've been better at it, but at the very, very peak, I need to be home. I need to be on my bed, under a blanket. Like that's a peak anxiety.
Yeah. So, but again, it's different for everyone. Like, for me, I can function even if my anxiety is like on really high levels. Actually, you know what? I can function no matter what. Okay, no matter what happens to me, I can function because I force myself.
Apparently
to function.
not when you have a sprained ankle.
Well, that's physical. Hello. But like whatever crap happens to me, that you know, depression, anxiety, or something really bad, I can still function. So there are people like that. But what happened at the peak of my anxiety, I have been really, really anxious twice in my life, and there are certain events that led to my anxiety. I'll give you one example. Was when I had this monster of a boss, okay, who really, really legitimately gave me anxiety, and it reached I knew it was anxiety when it started to manifest physically. Okay, like there were physical manifestations because nilalabanan ko siya. I was like, nope, she's not gonna get to me. I am not going to feel worried about this. I am going to be a fighter. I'm going to fight through this. You know, I was like literally self-talking myself, and yung parang kaya ko to. But it was coming out like physically. I couldn't sleep. Okay, I was getting insomnia. I had to take so many like sleeping supplements, whatever, just to help me sleep. I developed this condition called vestibular migraine, which felt like vertigo. Okay, I was dizzy all the time, and I started taking, I went to see a neurologist because I thought I had this is not a joke, okay? I thought I had brain cancer. I really did. I got MRI, CT scan. Like, there was this one time I really thought I was going to die. I went to the emergency room. I had a few episodes like this. I went to the ER, they did a CT scan for me, ilang beses, and they kept telling me, you're all right, it's just stress. And I'm like, this is not stress. I'm going to die. You know, like, why do I feel so dizzy all of the time? And when I went to the neurologist, he gave me medication for this vestibular migraine. It helped to stabilize it, but I still feel it every now and then. I had this major episode when I was out of the country. I was in Malaysia, and I was brought to the ER because I really thought I was having a stroke. I thought I was going to die. I was texting my children already, and I thought I was having a stroke, okay, but apparently I wasn't, and it was a huge, huge panic attack. Okay, what happened? When I left that job, when I left that monster boss, all of this stopped.
What if your boss sees this?
What? Oh, let her, I don't care. But all of that stopped, literally. So I was like, what the actual hell. It really was stress. So it can manifest physically like that. So like her, it paralyzes her. It doesn't paralyze me. I'll still like fight through it, you know, because I don't know that it's actual anxiety, but then it manifests in other ways, like in physical ways. So that's for the anxiety. For my depression, at the peak of my depression, this is true, and I don't know how many of you watching this have actually felt depressed, but at the height of my depression, I literally wanted to like throw myself in front of a truck and die. Okay, and like throw my
pills. No, truck.
No, but I remember having these kind of impulsive thoughts. I would be at work in front of my computer and I'd have a thought that what if I go down now and cross the street and throw myself in front of moving vehicles, just to be over with all of this, just to be done. And the only thing that didn't stop me was thinking that how they would,
I saved their life.
how they would, they were still very small at that time, but so that was what stopped me basically, because the thought of them having to go through that, having to experience that, and having to go through life without a mother. If I didn't have them, I don't know what.
She's about to cry.
I'm not. Totally not. This is something I'm very comfortable talking about right now, okay? Because I'm over it, and I want people to learn, and I want to share, and I want them to learn from our experiences.
Okay, so we're gonna leave you some links down below. These links will be for if you just need someone to talk to, if you want to know more about depression, anxiety, and also if you've ever had suicidal thoughts, please do go on the links below. There are people out there who are willing to help you and talk to you, and yeah.
Okay, so the next question was, what causes anxiety and depression? That's a hard one. Do you have an answer to that?
Okay, so I guess what causes anxiety and depression, right? There's always something that's going to trigger it. There's always going to be an event, or yeah, mostly an event that happened to you, but most of the time or sometimes you won't know what that event is, and it just suddenly happens out of nowhere and you're super confused.
Of course.
Like, where the heck did that come from? So for me, I didn't know. Like, I don't know when. I have a certain, like, you know, idea of when it happened, but I'm not sure like what triggered it.
Yeah, we are not doctors, so we might not be able to answer this one, like what causes it correctly, but we can just share. Like for me, for example, my anxiety was certainly triggered by events or people. Okay, so that can happen to you, like something triggers it. Okay, when I had depression, at the peak of my depression, I saw a psychiatrist, and what she said was that I had a chemical imbalance, and that chemical imbalance is triggered by certain life events. Okay, so that's what she said to me. Yeah.
So this is why it's very important
to see a professional.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, what I can share was, again, based on my experience. Okay, I'm not a doctor, but like
when I was accent coming from
when I was younger. Okay, when I was younger, there weren't events that triggered my depression. I just felt there were absolutely nothing going on. There's a total normal day. Nobody's pissing me off or anything, but there were times that I just felt so sad, like overwhelmingly sad and lonely, and everything would be literally everything would be so dark. Okay, everything would be so gloomy. There were days like that when I was young. Okay, when I was like in college, when I was younger, even younger, like a teenager, like 13, 12. Okay, like that. I remember episodes like that. Nothing's happening. It's just that sometimes that feeling would really just hit me. But I do remember a few episodes like in college when I would come back from, I'd go on the week because I was dorming, and I'd go on the weekend back to my family, my cousins, my mother, and I'd spend the weekend with them, and everything was noisy, you know, everything was happy, joyful, like that. I hear a lot of noise, and then on the Monday I'd go back to my dorm and it was so quiet, and then it would hit me like the silence and everything, and like being enclosed in a small area because it was a room, and then there's no, it was too quiet.
That's why they say that surrounding yourself with people you love and having fresh air often helps with,
because when I felt
depression and anxiety.
Yeah, when I'd go back like that, sometimes like I'd really feel overwhelmingly alone, like very lonely, and I just really like cry, like super cry. There are many points in my life when I felt like really lonely. Okay, like very alone. nothing like really triggered that, but that is the core of what I felt. Okay, and that's why I can say that it was depression. So, and then in my mid-20s, that something happened, and that's why it all came back, and that's when I had to go see the psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Okay,
my question.
All right.
Okay, so someone asked me, hold on. Okay, come on. Okay. So someone asked me, when did you decide to speak with a therapist? And then someone also asked, how do you know if you should see a therapist? So I think these are two very correlated questions, but two different questions. So the first one is, when did you decide to speak with a therapist? So for me, I decided to speak to a therapist, like they were asking what point in your life, or so what made me speak with a therapist was that you know, I was feeling all sorts of things, and I didn't know what it was, and I would speak to friends about it, and I would tell them, you know, this is how I feel, and you know, I don't know what to do with it. And good thing I was surrounded with really great friends, and they encouraged me. They didn't force me, they encouraged me to actually talk to a therapist. And yeah, that's how I started. Yeah.
Okay, what was the question?
I know, I forgot. When did you decide to, but like at what point?
At what point? For me, I saw the psychiatrist, like I said a while ago, when my depression, when I knew already that it was depression, and it peaked because I had those episodes where I would really just want to end everything. Like I was literally thinking of things already to end my life. Then, but I knew that I couldn't because I have kids, so that's when I decided to see a psychiatrist. So this happened to me like in my mid-20s.
Okay, so another point is, you know, when you're feeling sorts of things, like for example anxiety, and you already know in your mind that it's anxiety, just go and speak to a therapist. There's nothing wrong with speaking to them, even if you're unsure about how you're feeling. And you know, sometimes it can be scary because you might think that, oh, this is just feeling sad, or I'm just anxious, I'm not having anxiety. But you know, just go and check, and you might think that it's too small, but it's not. Just really go and check. They're really so kind and so helpful, and they're very understanding with whatever situation you're in.
If you're worried about the cost of seeing a therapist, the cost of getting some help, we are also going to leave some links below in the description box where you can get this for free. Yes?
Yeah, for free. Some universities offer it for free, or some organizations at a very discounted rate. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. We have time for only like 2 more questions. One very important question that I received was how to overcome depression or anxiety. So how to overcome, I'll go first. I don't know about anxiety, but I'll tell you that I was able to overcome my depression. I have not felt that like those suicidal thoughts have never entered my brain again. Okay, and how I overcame it, how did I recover? Well, at the very peak, and I'm telling you that peak was really, really bad. Okay, when I had that episode, I saw a psychiatrist. The psychiatrist gave me medication. Okay, gave me antidepressants. I saw her on a regular basis. Then I took the medication. Okay, and basically I read some books. Okay, and I'm going to leave the link also down below of the books that I read. But I read some books that really changed my perspective in life.
See, self-help books work.
I found my purpose, really. Okay, I found my purpose in life. I found it, and I realized really how precious life is. Okay, and like what I can do with my life. And I realized like all of my blessings in life. I stopped reading and listening to really depressing stuff. Okay, because since I was a kid, I really like to read and listen to dark stuff. Okay, if we're
like
talking
dark bands or something,
and like Jim Morrison, okay, like Virginia Woolf, like people who have committed suicide or have died, you know, of like drug overdose. I don't know why I was like attracted to this. I guess if you're gonna put it in today's perspective, yung parang emo kid ganyan, but you'd never suspect that of me because I was always perky, and you know, I didn't look like that. But I stopped all of that. I stopped idolizing like people, dark people and dark poetry and stuff like that, and instead I focused my energy onto uplifting stuff, uplifting material, uplifting music, everything around me being very positive. Okay, and So basically that's what I did. I changed the stuff that I was exposed to, and I took the medication very diligently, and I recovered. So a couple of things happened to me after that, some serious stuff that could have pulled me really back down to that state, but it didn't. Okay, it didn't. I have experienced some anxiety, but I have never ever been pulled down to that level of depression again.
Yeah, okay, so for me with my anxiety, what really helped was seeing a psychiatrist. So go get professional help. We're all about that. Second is talking about it a lot more, being open about it. Also, another thing is sometimes you don't really completely get over it. You do learn how to cope with it better, and you know, sometimes medication does help. But sometimes it just really takes some time to get over it. I know some people
live with it.
Yeah, I know some people who's gotten over their anxiety and it took them a really long time, but yeah, it's a learning process. Sometimes it doesn't go away, you just learn to cope better.
For some people it's a lifelong thing. And then you just learn how to live with it and manage your everyday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Question is, opinion on people who fake social anxiety or depression for attention. Okay, so as I was talking about like the stigma around it, right? I feel like if you fake your depression or you fake your anxiety, like why? Why would you want to fake it, and what for? This is just what's the word?
It's not helpful.
It just invalidates everyone else who actually has, you know, that mental health issue, and it's not helpful to society or to anyone. So please don't do this.
Yes, depression and anxiety, they are two very serious things. So for you to fake it is really disrespecting the people who actually really have it. They are actual medical conditions. It's not a thing you conjure in your mind, okay? It's not a thing that you say you have when you're having a difficult time. These are serious medical conditions that need proper help, medication, and
professional
help. So don't make light of it, don't joke about it, and don't use the terms depression and anxiety lightly. And I would say, and again, this is just my opinion, don't even say that you have it until you're really sure, okay? Until you've seen a professional, until you are diagnosed. Last question is from my follower. She is asking, like, she sometimes wakes up in the middle of the night feeling very nervous. Is that a sign of anxiety and depression? I would say that that is a sign of anxiety. It can be that she's feeling, or you are feeling very anxious about something.
But again, disclaimer, we are not doctors, so the best thing to do is see someone.
Professional. Yeah. Okay, and then there is absolutely no harm in seeing a professional.
Just a consultation will help, you know.
Even one consultation, that will do. Just for you to know if it is indeed anxiety and what you can do about it.
And side note, when you do see therapists, you know, sometimes they're not the one for you. You really have, you know, it's really like a puzzle piece that each person will have different things that they want in a therapist. So you really need to do, you know, if you really want to go in it for the long run and really take therapy in the long run, then you really should find the right fit for you.
Yep. Okay, so that's all we got time for today. We really hope that this was helpful. I'm gonna leave a lot of links in the description box below. If you have any other questions on this topic, you can also write a comment down below and we will try to respond to you. But thank you so much for watching. We hope it was helpful.
Feel free to message us on social media as well.
Yes, so please like this video if you did like it, if it was helpful, and then subscribe to my channel as well if you haven't already, and follow me on Instagram if you are not following me yet. Follow her as well on Instagram. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Bye.